Welcome back to Live Rogue, everyone. This is Dakota. Today we're going to talk about the macrame knot and some of the nuances and precautions while working with it. There are several different techniques to tie the macrame knot. For this demonstration, we're going to just tie the most simple form. So we have a piece of runner, a loop of runner tied around this rock. And I've got a wrap ring on here as well. So first what you do is you take what's a bite of the rope, right, along the midline of the rope and pull it through the wrap ring. And then what we do is we take another bite and you do successive bites and run them through like a macrame, or somewhat similar to a chain stitch in crocheting. So I take that, pull it through, take my tensioned side, pull it through feed it through the loop again, take my tension side, feed it through the loop again. And I do this about 6 to 8 times. And make sure this is a knot where you want to be really careful to dress it. You want everything to look really uniform and nice there. Then when I get down to the end of it, what you'll notice is you'll want to make one large loop here on the loose end, and then you have the end that's pre-tension on the line that doesn't have any give, right? You will notice that this other line has give if I pull on it. If I only pull on this line, this loop will pull through. And that's one of the biggest consideration with this knot, because you don't want to tie off on the wrong strand and pull that through and accidentally pull or purposely pull the wrong strand. So the tension line should be the line that doesn't pull. As a safety precaution, if you have multiple people in your group, you could take a carabiner on this bite that we pulled through there and clip it up at your anchor. And that way, if this line gets pulled, it only gets pulled so far and doesn't actually pull through the knot. So here we have our macrame knot as demonstrated earlier, and we have our bite pulled through on the loose end. We've taped both strands here and created a line here so that when we do some rappel testing, we can see how far these lines get pulled off from one another. We've just completed our first rappel, double-stranded rappel off of the macrame knot anchor. So first thing, I think it's important to note what we rappelled with. We rappelled with an ATC backed up with a VT Prosec on the top. So what we noticed is that it appeared we had about 2 feet of pull here from our one piece of tape to the other, right? And so that slack pulled out of the loop that we had here, the bite. And as a safety measure, we definitely wanted to back up the system so that it wouldn't pull through. So we had it clipped up to our anchor as well. But you will notice this is still loose. It did not pull this loop tight, but luckily we had a lot of slack in the system. But what we think happened was that the VT was gripping both ropes so strongly that it was gripping that second line and pulling it with. We just completed our second rappelling test. What I want you to notice here is that this time, here's our isolated strand that's non-movable. Our other strand pulled down more than 2.5 feet below, to the point of this loop tensioning under our safety carabiner. So I think it's safe to say in this case that doing a double-stranded rappel on the macrame knot is not a safe or advisable technique. Rope that we were testing with today is a canyoneering rope. It's with a Technora sheath. In the past we have done a test with a 10.5 millimeter nylon sheath rope where there was actually very little slippage, less than an inch. But what we find is that in every system, depending on what type of rappelling device or descending device you use, what type of rope is used, and several other variables in the system can affect the slippage of the rope. So what we would recommend is that if you do use the macrame knot, which we don't dissuade you from doing as long as it's tied properly, it can be safely rappelled off of single strand from the isolated strand that does not move. Thanks for watching. If you like what we do, please hit the like and subscribe button. It motivates us to keep producing. And definitely make sure that you test these techniques in a controlled environment before trying them in the field.